Hey, what's up everybody? It's Chris with Digital REM. Welcome back to Digital REM Production. In this video, we're going to show you how to create a Instagram avatar, Instagram profile picture using Photoshop. So customizing your profile picture for Photoshop. Again, you can use this on not only on Instagram, for Facebook, for any other applications, but for your profile picture, really just getting into Photoshop and getting creative with your profile picture. So we're just going to do this in the video, so let's get right to it. Alright, so we have Photoshop currently open. Pretty much we're just going to hop right into it. First thing first, we want to go ahead and make a new folder, and we'll just call this folder IG profile photo, right? And I spelled that wrong, but you know what it is. IG profile photo. Boom. And usually I like, this is a personal preference thing, but I like to not have spaces in my naming convention, for the meaning of, just in case later on there's some type of code that I can generate this on later on, I'd already have that name, those naming conventions already set, right? Boom. First things first, what we're gonna do is go ahead and make our shape. So let's make our shape of however the shape of that social media avatar would be. So on Instagram it's a circle, so we're gonna make a circle like so. You just kind of want to eyeball it and get it right in the middle. You can just snap it to the middle using these tools, but essentially all we want to do is do a control, hold down control and click the layer that you want. Well, you have to click the little box, but hold down control, click the little thumbnail for the layer that you want, and it'll make the selection of what you have in that layer, right? So then you want to select the folder layer and hit this mask button, add a mask layer. And that's essentially gonna, whatever you put inside of this folder is gonna be within, masked out within this circle. So we'll just keep this for reference, this ellipse, but we can really end up deleting that later on, right? So we'll just keep it for now, right? So now I want to go ahead and go to one of my previous photos, and we're just going to duplicate this. So drag, made a copy of it. I dragged it into a new layer, made a copy of it. Boom, and I'm gonna drag it up. IG photo. So now you see my photo is inside, like I was saying before. My photo. If you have a layer on your photo before, just right click, delete layer mask, right? So if you just drag and drop the photo, now you can see, if I scale this up, it's within the shape of a circle because it's within that circle, within that group. I mean within that group, but the group is masked out. So now you can just place your image how you want and create your composition. So I want my composition to be, I don't want the little thing in the background, but I also don't want the printer in the background either. So one thing you can do, since I don't want the thing in the background, don't want the printer in the background, but I do want it to look like somewhere around here. So what I can do is go ahead and double click into the smart layer, right? Double click into it. And then we're just going to go in and mask all of this stuff out. Well, we don't even have to double click into it really. We can just mask it out on this primary layer. So what I'm gonna do is just disable this. You can control shift click the mask layer and disable it. So then you want to go to the image layer. Go ahead and grab your magic wand tool. We're gonna make a duplicate just in case we want to erase anything. And then we'll just magic wand tool all of the background away. You can hold shift and it adds on to what you already selected. So just hold shift and magic wand tool all this stuff away. Boom. And for the most part, that's where, oh, you can control plus, hold down control and hit plus sign, and it'll go zoom in a little more. You just want to select all the little stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to separate the background from the foreground. Oops. Okay. Boom. And I think that's good enough. Because what we can do also in the selection, we can go to this lasso tool, and everything that wasn't selected, we can hold down shift and do like a lasso select. I want to keep the desk, so I'm gonna just do it like that. And I know most of this isn't even going to be in the circle, but I'm just keeping it consistent for if I change the composition in whatever type of way, it'll be ready for that. Boom, 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 boom. This is very rough. Don't worry about being perfect right here, because again, this part is not going to be, more than likely is not going to be seen. It's already selected, so you can kind of just select around that. Boom. Select in here. Boom, and then finish it off. Now everything is selected. So now you can do the same thing as before. Just add this layer mask. Boom. As you see, I went away. We need to invert this, so you can hit Control I like that, or you can go to, let's see, image. Let me see if I can figure this out real quick. So if you wanted to invert, adjustment, invert. Yeah, Control I right here, adjustment, invert, if you need to find it that way. But again, pay attention to these little hotkeys next to the things you do. Then you can later on just do it a little faster, right? So boom, we got that going. We need a background for this thing. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and duplicate this background that I had before and pull it in. One of the reasons why it's ideal to duplicate what you had before, if you already created graphics and you want to, well, I'm saying it's ideal to duplicate what you had before, because it keeps consistency throughout your production or throughout your branding. So your design will be consistent throughout your different applications. So boom, we have the background here. I'm gonna get rid of that white background. And I have this like interesting like textured tile thing going on here. So I'm gonna just play with that for a second, right? Let's play with it. Let's go ahead and put our circle back so we can see what this looks like. So you can shift select, and it'll toggle your alpha back on, or you can right click and disable layer mask, right click, enable layer mask, like that. All right, so continuing on, I want to just play around and see what comes out of this, right? And that's the end of the day. What you want to do is just have fun with it. Really just have fun with it. Get in there, get dirty, mess it up, break it, whatever you want to possibly call it, because you really can't break it. Boom. So I like that. I like how that looks. I know one thing I do want to do to separate the foreground and the background, because I want to kind of come like I'm coming out of the screen a little bit, right? Well, one thing I want to do is go ahead and add a gradient layer. So you could do add new layer, boom, and I want to put it behind me. I like this gray, actually. I like that gray. Let's add the gradient layer, because I do want to keep my background. I want to keep it where it does look like it's in my environment. So we could get rid of this background. Let's just get rid of this altogether. Boom. We'll add new branding. We'll add same branding but new branding, right? So let's just call this foreground image, background image. Not big, background. All right, background image, foreground image. So between these foreground image and background image, see foreground, back, well, you can't really see, but foreground, then add the back as background, right? That's what we did. Boom. Which that would be interesting. Just having this on your actual web page would be interesting. But if you notice, you can see there's the fine details not there, and that's really what I'm trying to get to, where we can see that a lot better. So to fix that, you can double click on the mask, boom, double click on the mask, and you're gonna get these new options where either it's gonna turn red or it's gonna show in different ways. So you could do the view mode differently by just clicking these, clicking here, I mean. So you can do it over black, you can do it over, you know, do it over different ones where you can get a better view of what it looks like. So I like it over red because, again, red helps you see it. So we're going to do it over red. What we want to do is just bump up the radius. The radius is going to give us a little smoother here. And then we're going to smooth it out just a little bit. Boom. And add a little more contrast. Just a little bit, like that. Boom. And we're going to back out just so we can see where we at. So let's bump the radius up just a little bit more. Let's see what it does. Way too much. Boom. We're way too much. I say bump it up to about right here. Yeah, because I'm looking at this finger. Boom. I say bump it up to about right there. And you can, if you want to just fine tune it, you can click on it and it'll actually, when you have the refine mode set, you can click on it where you see this little thing, and then you can click on the area that you don't want. But don't click on like the finger where areas you do want, because then it's going to turn transparent, and that's what you don't want. Alright, so I'm going to back out of that just a little bit, a couple times. Boom. Let's take the smooths off a little bit, and boom, drop it. And there we have it. So you saw it kind of flicker. It went from one to the other. That's what we want. So now we're adding the background back in, and you can see I lost that little bit of edge, and I don't like that too much. I really don't like that. I really like this hard edge on my finger. So what we're gonna probably do is just back out of this. Undo. Control Z is your friend. Alright, we're gonna try it again. Double click. Go on the radius mode. Increase the radius. Now just I'm gonna just leave it there, right? We can shift the edge in a little bit. That might help. Boom. I think that'll work right there. I think that's good enough. That's gonna be good enough for now. Alright, because remember, this image is going to be about this small. So it's not really going to be very noticeable. We're getting into the nitty-gritty details, but we don't really need to do that, right? So we're going to go ahead and add our background back in. Now with this new layer, we're going to call this a gradient layer. What is a gradient layer? A gradient layer is essentially going to, you can click here, and it's essentially moving slowly, dissolving from one color to the other. So that's exactly what we want to do. So go ahead and hit the, it's up here, shoot. Go ahead, stay in the gradient layer. Then we're gonna hit this drop down. And I guess this is just a little different than, here we go. One of the basics, and we're gonna just pick that basic right there. Then what we're gonna do is just drag from the bottom. Let's say drag from the desktop, and we're gonna drag that all the way up to the top. Boom, and that's gonna give us a nice little gradient. What that's doing in essence is bringing us further out into the image, or bringing us, essentially playing an eye trick, bringing us out from the inside of the image, right? A little bit, but it's just an eye trick. It's just creating a sense of depth by using light in the back. So with that being said, let's continue on. Let's see if we shift this gradient up a little bit more. See where we're at. Boom. And one thing I'm noticing, because it is black, I don't want it to be this dark. Like, I really don't want it to be that dark. I do want my background to be there, but I want it to be very subtle. More subtle, I mean, not very subtle, but more subtle. So we're just gonna scale that up. What we did is just scale the gradient layer up. So it's just a more subtle transition from one to the other. like that. Boom. Now this image is decent. I think there's room for improvement, right? So the little room for improvement, you can go to adjustment layers up here, or layer image adjustment, and you can do the adjustment layers there. But we're gonna do adjustment layers right here. And what I'd like to do is just go to levels and just, you know, mess with these levels just a little bit. You know, make some of them shadows pop out, get some of them whites to get a little whiter. You know, make some of them highlights just hit a little harder, but not to overexpose the shot. The only thing I'm noticing is that I don't like how bright this hand is. Now, how can we fix that? Let's first work on our face. Then let's focus on the face. We're about to probably go right there. I think that's nice. And go right there. That's about nice, right? So then how would you get this hand a little better? So what we'll do, same thing as before. Or now, how do I want to do this? Because this layer is on that. Let me delete that adjustment layer. Deleting these layer masks. Boom. Alright, that works for that one. So let's just do another one. Or better yet, let's just grab the pen tool now that we've made a mask of that. Let's just have this as a reference real quick. Boom. We'll have that as a reference, just in case we want to go back. We're going to make a mask of that. And how masks work is either white is on, black is off. So white is, you can see it, black is transparent, you can't see it. So with that being said, just grab a brush. You know, we're going to increase the size a little bit, but grab a brush and we're just going to brush out the mask on this tool. So eventually making this transparent to go more back towards what it originally was. And we're going to drop the opacity just a little bit, and then the hardness, we're going to drop that too. Because we don't want to, we want it to gradually get there so we can see. I just want to hit these dark spots, bring the dark spots back. Like, we want the brown, we want that melanin popping, so we want to keep that. We don't want to be too bright, you know what I'm saying? So boom. Just really get in there, clean that up a little bit. It's still a little bright for me. It's still bright, right? Yeah, it's still kind of bright. I don't like it. So what we're gonna do, since it's still bright, what we're gonna do is do another adjustment layer, or yeah, we're gonna do another adjustment layer, or even a brightness layer. Let's do brightness. And that's bringing my saturation down, which I don't like that. So I want my hand to look like that. So what I will do is just, on the brightness layer, we're going to create the alpha for the brightness layer. Delete the vector mask, create the alpha for the brightness layer. But then what we did, we didn't brighten it, we darkened it. So just like before, like I said before, we have the alpha at black, we want to turn it to white, flip that to white. Now where we paint in, it'll be darker, like we said it before. Oh, and And that's it. Look, happy mistakes, right? Happy mistakes. So if you notice, there's a little, well, better yet, I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna just do this, then I'm gonna apply that, delete this layer mask. I'm gonna apply that shape to it. So boom. Now I will just have the black and remove the black. So turn my brights back bright. Yeah, turn all my brights back bright. Turn them back up. So then you can actually end up freaking this a little bit, because now you can, manipulate your shadows a little bit. Hit some darker spots. Find darker spots in your, create darker spots in your composition. Create light spots and have dark spots. Like this right here. I'm gonna keep, even though that's pretty much good to go. Definitely eyes are always a light spot. You want to keep your eyes light. Face usually like nice and vivid. Boom. Keep that sweater dark, right? Just hit this part right here. Probably hit these fingernails a little bit, just so they pop a little bit, Just make them pop just a little bit. Little keys, like. So now I'm getting a better match between my face and my hand, and I like that a lot better. You can actually play on that light. If you notice, there's a light right there. You can play on that light. So if there's a light right there, just go ahead and tap that. I'm not gonna tap it because I like the darker hue of it, and then when the light hits it, it just kind of makes it, bounce a little bit, or just makes it look like you cocoa buttered up. Y'all know what that mean. All the culture people, y'all know what that mean. You cocoa buttered up. So boom, just get in there, just like that. Boom, we in there. So now we can look before, after, before, after, before, after. See the hat I left there. So we getting a little variation with the hat. Boom, a little pop there. So I think that's good. I think that's where we're gonna sit with this one. I could do one more thing. I might do one more thing, right? Get rid of the background and add an image. If you really just want to, like, just edit, fill, just add an image, like add a, fill it with the white. You could do it like that. And that looks cleaner to me. I don't want it to be white, so what I'll do, let's see, that's just background color. Now with these layer styles, you might be interested. We're definitely going to cover this in a later video. But with these layer styles, color, where is it? Color overlay. So we could just choose our color now. And I think that's perfect. That color is perfect. It's similar to the ones we had set up, and we don't have all of the extra in the background. So that's perfect. Let's do one more thing. So I'm gonna want this social media bar. I'm gonna grab this social media bar. It was in our other image as well, but the social media bar, I'm going to apply, or first rasterize this image. And when you rasterize the image, it allows you to apply the alpha channel. Now that I applied the alpha channel, what I want to do, and it could work like some type of banner type of thing. I like that. I actually like that. We're gonna roll with that. I like that better, right? So then, if you have a little area that's, you need a little more space, you can actually just marquee select, and then just, when you just rasterize, you can marquee select and do a, scale that area, and it's essentially gonna extend that white area. So, boom, I like that. That feels good. I like that. One thing I am noticing, I'm getting a little halo around my subject, right? Let me see if I turn my gradient off, what that looks like first, before I do anything. Yeah, so essentially it's just let's try this. So we have a mask. We want to do a new mask over all of this. Apply this mask. So control select, apply this mask to this layer. Boom. On this layer, we want to make it dark. Actually, just fill it with black. So this layer, we want to paint bucket, just fill it with black. Boom. Now, what do I want to do? That's actually a pretty cool little concept. I'm not gonna lie. Because if I do something like this, you know, and just bring the transparency down. And you can add a, you know, Gaussian blur, but basically you got a drop shadow all of a sudden. We're not gonna do that though. Actually, we might. But that's not what we were working on. We were working on getting the edge around the edges a little darker, and I think we just did that with that. So even just applying that, where now that black background is behind it, it actually made those edges darker, and that's what I was looking for, really. That's all I really wanted. So I'll actually duplicate this one more time, and then do what I said, like drop it down. Let's go ahead and apply like Gaussian blur. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Yeah, make it hella big. Drop it down like that, not too low. Opacity down, because we don't want it super obvious. Let's put it on this side, because you don't want that big, you know, blob to be right here. People's eye is going to come from here to here, so you want to guide people's eye, or even have the understanding of how people's eye would move in the composition. So the composition naturally, boom, you'll see somebody's eyes. That's what our natural instinct is, to look at somebody's eye in a picture, and then we scan the actual picture. So the eyes, the first thing we look at, and then we might, you know, because the eye is close to this hat, it's like, oh, what's that graphic on the hat? So you see the hat, but then you have this big white part, so your eye is going to move down to the big white part, and then it's going to slowly move up here, like, okay, what's going on here? And that's pretty much this eye is going to do a little rotation right here. So putting a big blob right here in the middle is going to really distract what you're trying to do. So you want to put it off here to the side, because really it's just creating a sense of depth, and that's all you really want. So just having that rotate around there like that is perfect. And I think that's where we're going to end this one off, right? Boom. So we're just going to save this here. Save this out, and you'll see this on my Instagram page from now on until I create a new one. So let me hop out of this thing. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Definitely, if you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to continue to see videos like this, subscribe, do what you have to do. Again, we just really made a Instagram profile photo in Photoshop, showed you how to do it, how to create your mask. So all the different tools that we utilize to create a Photoshop photo, and you can pretty much pick and choose those tools in other types of production when you're doing Photoshop. So understanding mask, understanding smart objects, understanding groups, quote unquote folders, understanding how to do that. Also, always naming your layers. Always name your layers, because you don't want to have a big file with multiple layers that are just called layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. You want to understand what you're looking for, what you're looking at. So, and then if you are able to, you're able to hand this off to another artist when you know your business grows and you don't necessarily do this part of the thing. Now they know how to work within your file. So with that being said, I hope this video was valuable to you. This again is Digital REM Production, another entry into our library of videos. If you want full access to our library of videos, go to digitalrem.com, become a member of the community, and you'll get access to all of the content that we create for Digital REM, the Digital REM community. So getting first access to these videos, getting the understanding behind these videos, really coming from the production background, or getting insight from somebody from the production background in the TV world and the advertising world, getting the actual first-hand production lesson on how we do it in the I don't want to call it in the pros because I don't think anybody's ever a pro, but how we do it in different production houses. So with that being said, I hope this was valuable to you. Y'all take care. Continue to create. Continue to have fun. More than anything, continue to have fun. And y'all take care. Later, y'all. Peace.